Hold on to your hats, folks, because the market has been on a wild ride. We saw a major sell-off on March 10th and 11th, 2025. Investors hit the panic button, sending stocks lower. It felt like a roller coaster we couldn't get off. But don't worry, this isn't necessarily the start of something terrible. Deutsche Bank analyst Luke Templeman says this dip doesn't mean a recession is coming. He thinks companies are still strong and will bounce back later this year. The S&P 500 is a key indicator of the overall market. And guess what? It's feeling the heat. As of March 10th, a whopping 73% of the companies in the S&P 500 were down by 10% or more from their highs. That's called a correction. Even worse, 41% of them were down over 20%. That's bear market territory. Ouch! Sectors like consumer discretionary, technology, communication services, materials, and energy took the biggest hits. The retail sector is hurting, folks. The Spider S&P Retail ETF, which tracks a bunch of retail stocks, hit a new low. It's the lowest it's been since February of last year. Kohl's got hammered, dropping 22% after they said their 2025 wasn't looking so hot. It's their lowest price since 1997. Revolve Group, Foot Locker, and American Eagle Outfitters also got clobbered, dropping more than 5%. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Delta Airlines, one of the biggest airlines in the world, took a nosedive. Their stock plunged almost 9% midday and kept falling after the closing bell, ending down a whopping 14%. Why the crash landing? They slashed their revenue expectations for the first quarter of 2025. They're now saying they expect growth of only 3 to 4%. That's way down from their previous estimate of 7 to 9%. They blamed weak demand for domestic flights and the shaky economy, and to add insult to injury, they also lowered their earnings guidance. Things aren't looking good for Delta right now. Section 5. Verizon loses signal. Verizon, the telecom giant, also took a hit. Their stock dropped almost 7% after they warned investors that their subscriber growth would be slower in the first quarter of 2025. They blamed aggressive promotions from competitors. They still think they'll see single-digit growth in phone upgrades for the year, with things picking up later in 2025. But for now, investors are worried. Section 6. Southwest takes off. While most companies were crashing and burning, Southwest Airlines soared. Their stock jumped almost 10% after they announced they were going to start charging passengers to check bags. They're also introducing a basic economy fare. These moves are likely a response to pressure from activist investor Elliott Investment Management. Looks like Southwest is tightening its belt, and investors are happy about it. Section 7. Tesla charges ahead. Tesla, the electric car darling, didn't get caught in the market downdraft. In fact, their stock went up over 1% on Tuesday morning. That's right, up. Some say it's because former President Trump posted on social media that he wants to buy a Tesla and criticized people who are boycotting the brand. Whatever the reason, Tesla is bucking the trend. And to add to the good news, Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas gave the stock a buy rating after its recent slide. Section 8. Crypto rides the wave. Cryptocurrencies, which had been down in the dumps, caught a break. After hitting their lowest point since 2022 on Monday, they rebounded on Tuesday. Coinbase, a popular cryptocurrency exchange, saw its stock price jump by 6%. Robinhood, another trading platform that allows users to buy and sell crypto, rose by 5%. And Bitcoin miners like Core Scientific were also up, with Core Scientific gaining 6%. Bitcoin itself recovered to over $80,000 after briefly dipping below $77,000. Section 9. Small businesses worry. It's not just big companies that are feeling the pinch. Small businesses are getting worried too. The NFIB Small Business Optimism Index, which measures how optimistic small business owners are about the economy, fell to 100.7 in February 2025. That's down 2.1 points from January. More businesses are raising prices to cope with inflation, and fewer businesses think now is a good time to expand. Section 10. What's next? So what does the future hold for the stock market? It's hard to say for sure, but despite the recent sell-off, some analysts are still optimistic. They point to the strong underlying fundamentals of the economy, such as low unemployment and strong consumer spending. However, others are more cautious. They worry about the impact of rising inflation, higher interest rates, and geopolitical uncertainty. Only time will tell what the future holds. So buckle up, investors, it's going to be a bumpy ride.